Good afternoon, all. Okay, so last time we have seen how to find it out the line integration, that is integral f bar dot dr bar, that we have tried to find it out for straight line, and the second one is for the parabolic curve. And then we have seen very important result that if suppose f bar is not conservative, f bar is not conservative, that means f bar is written in the form of say del phi, that is f bar is irrotational. If it is not irrotational, that means curl of f bar is non-zero. Then in that case, along every path joining to the 2 points A and B, we are getting different integration values. We are getting different integration values. Whereas if you consider the given vector field, which is conservative vector field, like curl of f bar, if you can observe immediately that whatever the vector field is given, you can write it down in the form of the total derivative. Then, or you can check whether curl of f bar is 0. Then in that case, the integration along every path is same, and that is equal to the scalar potential phi, which we have found it out. The scalar potential phi, which takes the values from the starting to the ending point. So that we have seen. Then we have seen that if it is a closed contour C, closed curve C is given, and if the vector field itself is conservative vector field, then in that case the line integration is equal to 0. From starting to the ending point, it is equal to 0. Then we, or vice versa, you can use this result. That is, if the line integration for the closed curve is going to be 0, we say that it is conservative. Okay. Or the vector field is irrotational. That kind of thing we can say, we can claim. We can claim. So now, for example, we take a simple example here. So that is find. So what is the work done? We have seen that work done is nothing but the line integration f bar dot dr bar. So here the question is find the work done. Find the work done in moving a particle. Moving a particle once round. Once round the ellipse. Once round the ellipse. X square upon 25 plus y square by 16 is equal to 1, comma z is equal to 0. Under the force field, under the force field given by f bar is given as 2x minus y plus z times I bar plus x plus y minus z square times a bar. plus 3x minus 2y plus 4z times k bar. This is the vector field given. This is the vector field given. Now what is given to you that I have to find it out the work done in moving a particle once around the ellipse. So what is the curve given? The curve is given as an ellipse. And one more thing is given along with that, it is two-dimensional diagram because z is 0. That means it lies on z equal to 0 plane. So what I have is I have a two-dimensional curve here, and what is the curve? You can see that the value of a is greater than b, so it will look like this, correct? So this value is nothing but your 50, and this value is your 04 for this particular ellipse. X square by a square plus y square by b square, that is equal to 1. That is equal to 1. This is our curve, correct? Now we have to find it out the work done. The meaning of work done means line integration. Okay. So that means we have to evaluate here f bar dot dr bar. Evaluate f bar dot dr bar over this closed curve C. So I just say round on this particular integration and then closed curve. This is your curve. We are giving the direction to this curve. For understanding it is very important that if you draw it, a pictorial representation always helps you out in case of the integrations. So it is nice thing that, or a nice habit one can say, of drawing the diagrams. Now what I have to do is I have to just write it down f bar dot dr bar. The meaning of this is you just replace I with dx, z with dy and k with dz. That way you remember. So it is what? It is nothing but 2x minus y plus z times dx plus x plus y minus z square times dy plus I have the last term, that is 3x minus 2y plus 4z times dz. Correct. So what I have done is I have just written this in this integration form inside this integration over the closed curve C. Okay, over the closed curve C. Now it is understood even if you don't write it down that over the circle, if you just omit this and if you just only write it down over the curve C, then also it is understood because the curve is defined as a closed one only. So now this is given to you. Now what is given along with this? It is lies on z equal to 0 plane. That means the value, that is z coordinate, is always going to be 0. Correct? So you have to substitute in this integration z as 0. Once z is 0, dz will also be 0. Correct? Once z is 0, dz is also 0. So this component, that is the last component which you are seeing here, that last component goes to 0 because dz is 0. So what I'll do is I just substitute here. I just substitute here, that is z as 0 in this integration. Okay. So we'll put z as 0. So put z equal to 0. So this implies that dz is also 0. Correct? Dz is also 0. So what is this integration now becomes? So the integral over this curve C, you just substitute here z as 0. So I get this term as 2x minus y dx. Next term C, x plus y minus z square. So we are putting here z as 0. So we get this term as what? X plus y. So I get the next term as x plus y dy. Okay, x plus y dy. And see, the last term won't be there because dz is 0. So 0 times that term becomes 0. So the entire term goes to 0. So we have the integration now reduced to this new format where you can see that there are only x and y variables are present. X and y variables are present. Now see, I have this as a two-dimensional diagram. Along with this, what is the equation of this? It is x square by 25 plus y square by 16, that is equal to 1. So even if I just try to write it down in the form of substitution of x in terms of y, see, you can see that if I write it down this as x square by 25 is equal to 1 minus y square by 16, and then x is what? This 25 will go here, so I can write it down this as 5 times under root 1 minus y square by 16. This is plus minus, correct? So this is the value of x. That means I have to put the value of x is this, and then you will put dx as what the derivative of this, which goes 1 upon 2 root. So you can see that I'll make this integration very complicated. Okay, so to simplify this, earlier in mathematics 2, you have seen the tools that we can convert this in polar form. Once you convert it in polar form, everything becomes very simple expression wise. So what we'll do is we'll apply the polar form here. Okay, we'll apply the polar form here. So what is a substitution in case of ellipse? So you just write it down this, that is for ellipse of the type x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. Okay, x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, and we have this as a single integration. We have to solve single integration. Okay, so this is for single integration. Why I'm specifying it? Because you will understand it. Okay, this is for the second single integration. You put x is equal to a cos theta and y is equal to b sin theta. Okay, b sin theta. See, when I put x as a cos theta, this will become a square cos square theta, where a square will get cancelled. When I put y as b sin theta, you will get b square sin square theta, so b square will get cancelled. Okay, and you can see that this value is equal to 1. So this is a parameterization. Now this parameterization, you can see that it is in terms of single variable theta, where what is a and b, they are constants. See, like here we have x square by 25 plus y square by 16. So what is the value of a in this case? A is 5 and b is 4. So a and b in this case, they are going to be the constants. A and b are the constants. So what is a variable here? Theta is varying because I am just covering that particular circle, covering that particular ellipse. So theta in this case is what? Theta is going to vary from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, theta will take the value from 0 to 2 pi. Yes, now what we'll do is we'll use the substitution here. What is a? Now in this case a is 5. In this case b is 4. So I just use the substitution here. So put x is equal to 5 cos theta, okay, and y is equal to 4 sin theta. Okay, put x is equal to 5 cos theta, y is equal to 4 sin theta. Correct? Now we'll go ahead, we'll solve this integration further. So what is my dx? So therefore this implies dx is equal to what? Derivative of cos, which is minus sign. So we get minus sin theta d theta. So this will be what? Minus 5 times sin theta d theta. And what is the value of dy from this? So dy will give you 4 cos theta d theta. Okay, 4 cos theta d theta. Now after this we'll substitute these values here. Okay, we'll substitute these values here. So you can see that when I put it here, x in place of x I have to put this, in place of dx we are going to put this, in place of y I'll put this. Okay, so substitute it properly. So this will give you 2 times 5 cos theta, 5 2s are 10. So I'll get this as 10 cos theta. Then we have minus y, which is minus 4 sin theta. And what I have is outside, it is minus 5 sin theta d theta. Okay, this is my first term. When I substitute it, okay, even if you find it out, it is quite lengthy or it is quite complicated. But if you use the correct knowledge of this integration of sine and cos by using those reduction formulas, then it becomes very easy. So now plus what I have is, I have the next term, I just write it down again in the square bracket. X is what? X is 5 cos theta, y is 4 sin theta, and times dy. Dy is what? 4 cos theta d theta. Okay, once I substitute in terms of theta, always you put the limits. Okay, how theta will vary? I have to cover the complete circle, that elliptical shape, that is oval shape. So theta will take the value from 0 to 2 pi to complete one orientation. So here it is 0 to 2 pi. Okay. Now what I have to do is I have to solve this further. That is the only task remaining now. So what we'll do is we just multiply it inside by this term. So you can see that it is 0 to 2 pi. I just take out that d theta outside. This is 10 5s are, that is minus 50 cos theta sin theta. Then I have 4 5s are 20. So it is 20 times sin square theta. Correct. Now the next term 5 4s are 20. 20 into cos. So it is 20 times cos square theta. And what about the last term? It is 4 4s are 16. So plus 16 sin theta cos theta. So plus 16 sin theta cos theta, and then you multiply it by d theta. Okay, then you multiply it by d theta. So this way what we have done is we have substituted it. Once you get the correct substitution, everything becomes easy. You need to understand the limit. Even if it is a circle, for circle also, if I use the equation of along the circle, still I have to use what? In this case, instead of 5, there will be the value of radius. Correct? Constant radius. That is the only difference. So here you will get that substitution. Substitute it here. It will be in terms of only one variable because we are solving single integration. So it must be in terms of single variable only. Okay. So this will be in terms of cos theta, and then simplify this. So what I have done is I have multiplied it and I have written it. Now you can see here the nice observation, that is this. Correct. Here it is what, 20 sine square theta plus 20 cos square theta. If you take out 20 outside, this is cos square plus sine square, which is 1. Correct. Cos square theta plus sine square theta is going to be 1. So I'll get this value as 20. Now what about this? It is minus 50 plus 16. Sine theta cos theta. Correct. So I can subtract this. So we'll get this term as, so I just write it down now. So we just write it down, this integration in the reduced form. So this is, say, minus 50 plus 16. That means this is 434. So minus 34 sine theta cos theta, and plus I have 20 because we have directly used that. We don't have to write it down that because that is understood. Correct. At this age, it is understood that you know this. So it is what, 20 times sine square plus cos square is 1. So 20 into 1. So we get that value as 20. Now what I have to do is I have to integrate this. I can see, since it is written in the nice form of sine and cos. So what I can do is I can use the sine 2 sine theta cos theta formula that we can apply here. So what I'll do is 34 we can write it as 17 into 2, and out of that whatever 2 will come, 2 sine theta cos theta can be written as sine 2 theta. So we just write it down this as minus 17 times integration 0 to 2 pi. I have this as sine 2 theta d theta. Okay, and I just separate it out this integrations. So we just write it down this as 20 times integral 0 to 2 pi. This is d theta. Correct. Now what is the integration of sine? Integral of sine, always remember that it is minus cos. Okay, many a times students make mistake in writing this. If you miss that minus sign, everything becomes change. Okay, so here it is what? It is minus sine 2 theta. So this is minus 17. Here I'll get the integral of sine as minus cos 2 theta. And one more thing, you have to divide it by the derivative of this when you integrate. That is very important. So that is divided by 2. This also mistake is there many times, that students multiply this because they are used to of doing it for derivatives, and then they forget here. Okay, so here whenever you are integrating this, you have to divide by the derivative. So this is 0 to 2 pi, and what I have is, I have this is 20 times, this is integration of this is theta 0 to 2 pi. Now I just take out that minus half outside, so this is 17 by 2. Now when you put this, I'll get this as cos 4 pi, correct, minus cos 0. Put the upper limit and the lower limit, you will get this term. And what about this? It is 2 pi minus theta. When I put theta as 2 pi, you get 2 pi. And when you put theta as 0, you get 0. So this is what? 20 times 2 pi. Correct? Now what is cos 4 pi? We know that cos 4 pi is 1. Cos 0 is also 1. So we get this term as 17 by 2. This is 1 minus 1. And this is what? 40 pi. So ultimately our answer is going to be 40 pi because this becomes 0. The first term becomes 0. So this is what? 40 pi. Now if suppose in this example, if additionally it is asked whether this field is conservative, then what you will say? You will say that the field is not conservative. Why? Because this integration is non-zero. Okay. The integration is non-zero and therefore the field is not conservative. The field is not conservative. So here you can add that. So if suppose you just make a note because that is very important. If suppose it is asked in examination that whether the given field is conservative or not, then you are supposed to write it down the answer for that. There will be the additional mark will be given. That means additional means the out of 5, 1 mark will be allotted for that particular statement. Okay. So here if suppose extra question, in this question only you just write it down, is the field conservative? Okay. In the earlier question. In the earlier question, is the field is conservative? Then the answer is no. Okay, answer is no. Since line integral f bar dot dr bar over the closed curve C is equal to 40 pi, which is non-zero. Okay, which is non-zero, and therefore this field, given field, is not conservative. Given field is not conservative. So this way you can solve this, or you can remember like here I have solved it by using our traditional way, but then you can just use your another remark that integration 0 to pi of sine theta cos theta is always 0. That also you can write. Okay, you can use that result. So this way we can calculate this. We can calculate this. Now we'll go ahead. We'll take the next question. Next question. So this is also very important one as it requires a different technique to solve. So find the work done by the force F bar is equal to, I think everyone is writing with me so that it is very easy to understand also once you write it down. So it is F bar is given as x square minus yz times I bar plus y square minus zx times a bar plus the last term is z square minus xy times k bar and taking a particle from it is given as 111 to 3 minus 5 7. Okay, so it is why it is different. The similar thing is what here, that is work done. I have to calculate the work done. But what is given, taking a particle from this to this. I have starting point, I have ending point, but the path is not mentioned. Correct. So it is different. So in earlier all the questions they have mentioned the path. Either it is elliptical, either it is parabola, either it is a straight line, correct, joining to 2 points. So if nothing is mentioned, you can't take this as a straight line. Okay, please understand that. Here you cannot consider this path as a straight line. Since nothing is mentioned, it can be any curve joining to these 2 points. It can be any curve joining to these points. Now, here what we'll do is we'll try to observe this line integration. So what is my line integral? F bar dot dr bar. And one more thing, that this is an open path also. Okay, open. It is not closed. It's open path. So over the curve C, it is what? It is x square minus yz times dx plus y square minus zx times dy plus it is z square minus xy times dz, correct, over the given curve C. Now if you just observe this, okay, if you just observe this, you can see that it is conservative because see what about x square dx, I can write it down this as the integral of x cube by 3, derivative of x cube by 3. Then this is derivative of y cube by 3, this is derivative of z cube by 3. What I have is, I don't have here x component, so it is a derivative of total derivative of xyz, correct? When I just differentiate it with respect to x, I'll get yz. When I differentiate it equal to y, we'll get xz. When you differentiate it equal to z, we'll get xy. So in this case, it is nicely given as the irrotational or conservative force field. But then in examination, you have to prove that, correct, whether the given field is conservative or not. So what we'll do is, whenever we don't have any path is given, then the first task is you check whether the given vector field is irrotational. So what we'll do is, we just check here del cross f bar, whether del cross f bar is 0 or not, that we have to check. So I have I bar, z bar and k bar. We have here dabba by dabba x, dabba by dabba y and dabba by dabba z as the second row, and the third row we are taking it as x square minus yz, second is y square minus zx, and the last term is what, z square minus xy. Okay, now find out this determinant. Find out this determinant. You can see that I bar times with respect to y. What is the derivative with respect to y? Minus x. Now what is the derivative with respect to z? It is minus of minus x. That means it will become plus x. So I component goes to 0. Correct. Then you can see that z bar times dabba by dabba x of this z square minus xy. That is minus y. With respect to z, it is minus of minus y. That means plus y. So minus y plus y, again it is 0. Then we have with respect to z. So with respect to k, so I have to take dabba by dabba x of this. That is minus z. Here we'll get with respect to y, that is minus of minus z. Again I have the term like minus z plus z. So it is equal to 0. So you can see that once you solve it, okay, once you solve it, here because that much space is not there, so I'm not writing that, but then you write it down that term, okay. So here I bar times what values you are getting, that is very important. So you are getting that value as 0. So since curl of f bar is 0, curl of f bar is 0, this vector field is irrotational, okay. So we will mention this, that the vector field is irrotational. So the vector field, the given vector field is irrotational. So now it is irrotational. What I have to do is I have to write it down in the scalar potential phi. So you just consider here d phi. What is my d phi? It is f bar dot dr bar. Okay, f bar dot dr bar. I just remember this points 1 1 1. I write it down here only so that I can drop this earlier part. So it is 1 1 1 2 3 minus 5 7. Now what we'll do is, we just try to write it down in the form of, this is what I have is x square minus yz times dx. Then I have y square minus zx times dy plus z square minus xy times dz. So first of all, we just try to write it down in the form of total derivative, the way we have done it in vector differentiation. So we just write it down d of, what will be the derivative of this? It is integral, it is x cube by 3. Then what about this term? As I said earlier, it is derivative of xyz, because I have two variables here. Here I have only one variable, so therefore it is very easy, because it is the derivative of this will give me this term. See, 3x square upon 3. 3 will get cancelled. I'll get back again x square. Now what about yz? Here x component has to be there because it is dx is there. So when you will get the derivative as 1 when I have the term as x. So therefore we are writing this as xyz. Then here it covers this term and this term. Correct? All these terms will get covered. Now what is remaining? Y square dy. So again it is a function, it's a function of only one variable. So therefore the integration for this is y cube by 3, and then I have the integral of z square, that is z cube by 3, correct? Now don't write it down c here plus c here, because I have to take this integration from 1 to 3 minus 5 7. As the path is not mentioned, we are doing all these things, correct? Now what will be this? So therefore the line integral f bar dot dr bar over the curve c, that is from a to b, okay, where a is this, b is this point, that is equal to, I just write it down this as d of x cube by 3, correct, minus d of xyz plus d of y cube by 3 plus d of z cube by 3, correct. The integration is with respect to those many variables, it is like that, correct, and here from a to b. So what we'll do is we'll just substitute this terms directly by taking out that d term. So here what I have is, I have this term as x cube by 3 minus xyz plus y cube by 3 plus z cube by 3, and the limits are from 1 to 3 minus 5 7, correct, 1 to 3 minus 5 7. So you can omit this also, okay, you just write it down this one, that is d phi, okay, that way you can replace this by d phi, the word d phi, and then you can write it down this directly, okay, that also you can do it. So now what we'll do is we just substitute the limits here. What are the limits? The upper limit is 3 minus 5 7, that means the value of x is 3, y is minus 5, z in this case is 7, minus the lower limit, x y z values are what, 1 1 and 1, x y z values are 1 1 1. So what I'll do is I just substitute these limits, so put these limits here, okay. So this can be written as, this is equal to, when I put the upper limit, I get this as 3 cube upon 3 minus, this is what, 3 into minus 5 into 7. So it is 5 3s are 15, so it becomes plus 15. 15 sevens are, that is 105. So you'll get this as plus 105, correct? Then plus y cube by 3. Y cube is what? Minus 5 cube. So I get minus, okay, 5 cube divided by 3. Then we have plus 7 cube by 3. This is our upper limit, correct? Upper limit. So what I have done is I have just substituted in place of x3, in place of y minus 5, in place of z 7. That is my upper limit. Now you put the lower limit. What is the lower limit given? So the lower limit in this case is 111. Correct? Lower limit in this case is 111. So minus, I just substitute the lower limit, that is 1 by 3. This is 1. So it is 1. Then we have plus 1 by 3. And this is also plus 1 by 3. Correct? And see, you can solve this further. You know how to solve it. Correct? So the answer is given. You can tally that answer. That is, it is given in terms of fractions only. The answer is 560 divided by 3. So please check this answer. Okay. So you'll get this as an answer. So this is what, this is going to be 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3. That is 3 by 3. 3 by 3 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So this part goes to 0. So we'll get the answer from this only. So this will be what? 9. 9 plus 105. And this you will get 5 cube by 3 plus 7 cube by 3. Okay, so make the denominator same. So obviously the denominator will be 3 and you will get that term. So you can see here that we have found it out the answer if the path is not mentioned. Correct, if the path is not mentioned. But what was the nice thing in this example, that the force field given was a conservative force field. Now, if suppose it is not, okay, if suppose the given force field is not conservative, then in that case you have to take on your own two different paths and you have to show that the answer is different, correct? So such kind of questions obviously it will be avoided in examination. So if it is like uh, not conservative, then you can take on your own one or two paths, but the function will be simpler in that case if it is it is going to be there in your examination, then it will be the small functions, small vector fields where you can evaluate along two different paths, two different integrals. So here you just make a note that if del cross f bar is non-zero, okay, is non-zero, and the points for the curve is not mentioned, curve path is not mentioned, not mentioned, joining to points A and B, A and B, then choose any two paths, any two paths. Like you can choose y equal to x, okay, or I can choose say y equal to x square. Okay. Now, what will be the consideration in case of your z coordinate? So, in case of whenever I have z also there, then I need to choose a line which will cover that x and y together with z. Correct. So, I can write z is equal to x plus y, or y is equal to x, z is equal to x square kind of thing. So, such parameterizations you have to choose and you have to find it out the answer. Okay. And paths like such things, and find and evaluate the integral, okay, and evaluate. So that way you can find it out the answers when the path is not mentioned. Generally we always mention a path so that it is very easy to, because it gives you a direction of getting the answer, correct, and for the unique answers. So here it's simple, but whenever a path is not mentioned, so just check whether the given vector field is irrotational. That is the first part you must check. But this doesn't mean that whenever two points are given, it is always a straight line joining to two points. Unless and until it is mentioned, a straight line joining to two points, you can't take the equation of the straight line, okay? Otherwise, you will lose your all marks, correct? So what we'll do is we go ahead with the next part. That is the next important lemma which we have to take it today. So after this, we'll go ahead with the Green's lemma. So a very important and very nice thing, Green's lemma. The modification of this, that is generalization of this, is nothing but the Stokes theorem, okay, which is defined for the three-dimensional space. Here it is defined for 2D, that is a limitation. So Green's lemma is defined for two-dimensional plane only, okay, two-dimensional plane only. So we are going to consider the closed curve, okay. So consider the closed curve C. So this is my closed curve C, okay, where I have defined the vector field. Vector field is written as u of xy times I bar plus v of xy times a bar. So this vector field is acting on this, okay, for this entire closed curve. So Green's lemma is applicable for closed curve only, correct? So now, what is a line integration? So it says that the line integral f bar dot dr bar over this closed curve C is nothing but the double integration of dabba v by dabba x minus dabba u by dabba y dx dy. See, a nice thing is given. This is for the closed lamina. So this is your area, correct? So what is written here? A nice thing, that is this line integral. Instead of calculating the line integral for this closed curve C, you just imagine that as a disk. Okay, imagine as a disk plate, and then you apply this function. What is the function here? I have to differentiate v partially with respect to x, differentiate u partially with respect to y, okay, and subtract this 2 times dx dy, times dx dy, okay, and then evaluate this integration, surface integral for the given surface, and this is equal to, it says that it is line integration. See how strong result it is provided, that I can define the relation between the line, that is the perimeter, Okay, you can say that it's a perimeter with the surface integration with this function. Correct. Where obviously this functions has to be continuous, u and v has to be continuous. Their first partial order derivative must exist. They must be continuous. Correct. So all these things, the existence of all these things is always there in the given surface. So we take the example based on this. So please take down this particular part, that is line integral f bar dot dr bar is what? It is double integration vx minus ui. Vx means dabba v by dabba x minus uy means dabba u by dabba y. Dabba u by dabba y. So where how you define this? So this is the vector field where it is given always in terms of xy. Always it must be in terms of xy. Then we can apply this. We can apply this. So we'll see one simple example here. Simple example here. So a vector field, a vector field f bar is given by f bar is equal to sine y times I bar plus x into 1 plus cos y times z bar. Z bar. Evaluate the line integral f bar dot dr bar over the curve C, where C is defined as x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1 with z equal to 0. Now we have taken this as a generalized question where you can put any value of a or b, it will work. Correct. So now what is given to you? The given thing is, see, one can solve it by using the earlier method also. If you see that it is ellipse is given, I have to find it out the line integration. So why madam is telling that you have to apply the Green's lemma. So you'll understand the difficulty level once you start solving it. So here you can see that I have the curve which is depending on the value of a is greater than b or a is less than b, you'll get that particular the elliptic curve here, x and y, and it lies on z equal to 0. That is, it is on two-dimensional plane. Okay, so that is the nice thing where we can apply the Green's lemma. Now what I have is I have this f bar dot dr bar where this over this curve C, where f bar dot dr bar just replace I bar with dx and j bar with dy that we have seen. So here it will be what? Sine y times dx plus x into 1 plus cos y dy. Correct, over the curve C. Now what we have seen earlier that I can use whenever I have a single integration, we can use directly that x is equal to a cos theta and y equal to b sin theta as a substitution. Okay, y equal to b sin theta as a substitution. So what I'll get this integration as when I put it, so don't write now this. So I'm just trying to tell you how difficult it is once you solve it, or you can make it complicated. Okay, so it is what? X is equal to a cos theta and y is equal to b sin theta. So see, when I put it here, how this integration will look like. So this is sine of y is what? B sin theta. And then I have dx. What is dx? It is minus a sin theta d theta. Correct? Plus I have the next term that is x. X is what? A cos theta. Inside the bracket 1 plus cos of this is y, that is b sin theta. And then I have outside that is dy, which is b cos theta d theta. So this you can simplify it by putting the angles b sin theta as t, and then you have to put the limits accordingly. You have to define the limits here. The limit will be what? 0 to 2 pi only. Okay, but then it will take time. Okay, it will take time. You'll be able to solve. That is not a problem. You'll be able to solve, but it will take time because I have to put that in the internal angle as something like t, and then the derivative will exist outside and that will be dt, and everything you have to convert it in terms of t or dt, that is sine t. Okay, sine t. Then I have a cos theta. Theta will be what? Theta is nothing but b sine theta is equal to t. So cos theta is under root, correct? That is 1 minus sine square theta. So it is under root 1 minus t square. So I am making on my own the entire expression complicated. Okay, and then you have to solve it by different rules. So instead of this, what we'll do is, since it is nice thing, what is nice thing given? Because it is a two-dimensional curve. One more thing is there, that u, which is a coefficient of I bar, that is a function of xy. Even v, it is also a function of xy. So I can apply in this case the Green's theorem. I can apply in this case Green's theorem. So you can see here, so this is over the curve C, where what is u? U is sine y. What I have is v. V is x into 1 plus cos y. Correct? Now what I have to take? I have to take dabba v by dabba x. That is derivative partially with respect to x and its derivative with respect to y. So what is your dabba u by dabba y? That is cos y. Derivative of sine y is cos y. And we have to differentiate this with respect to x. When you differentiate it with respect to x, this entire bracket term is treated as constant. And you will get the derivative of x as 1. So you get this as 1 plus cos y. Correct? And what is a function by Green's theorem? The function is, now what I'll do is, I just say that by using Green's theorem or Green's lemma. Why they are saying it as lemma? Because the its application in this case is nothing but the theorem, correct? So Stokes theorem. So you can see that it is defined as a bar dot dr bar over the closed curve C, double integration. I have to take dabba v by dabba x minus dabba u by dabba y, correct? Dx dy. Dx dy. So what is this thing? It is double integral of, you put dabba v by dabba x, what I have is 1 plus cos y, correct? Minus dabba u by dabba y, that is minus cos y, and then dx dy. See, this integration function gets simplified and I am getting the function now as double integral of dx dy. Correct? Double integral of dx dy. What is my curve here? The curve is ellipse. Correct? It's ellipse. So what is the area? Double integral of 1 times dx dy is nothing but the area. You have seen this. Area of the given curve, whatever the surface is given. Which surface is? It is ellipse. So this is nothing but the area of an ellipse. So that is equal to area of ellipse. And what is your area of an ellipse? It is pi times AB. We know that area of ellipse is what? Pi times AB. So we get this as what? Pi AB as an answer. Okay, pi AB as an answer. See, we can simplify the given question and see it gets from the complicated version to very simple manner. You can solve it immediately and you can get the answer orally also. Okay. So this is the nice thing about the all these theorems, that whatever I have the complicated things, you can just simplify it and you can get the answer very easily. So these are nothing but the tools only, correct kind of tools which you apply for the different expressions. Because of the relation we can apply, but the limitation here it is what, that u and v must be the functions of xy only. If it is z is also there, then you can't apply Green's lemma. There you have to apply the Stokes theorem. Stokes theorem, which we are going to see it later on. That means it is a three-dimensional, you can say three-dimensional surface or object is given. Now we take the next example. So next is evaluate. Evaluate the line integral f bar dot dr bar over the curve C using Green's theorem or Green's lemma. Okay, where f bar is given as x square I bar plus xy z bar, x square I bar plus xy z bar, and the curve C is given as y equal to x square comma y equal to x. The comma meaning is nothing but you have to consider both. Okay, you have to consider in this case both the things. That is a requirement. So now what we can do is we can take it as I have this two curves are there. Okay, and here it is using, that means I have to do the second part. Whenever it is using, you can't do the line integration. Don't solve the line integration. With Green's lemma, that means what is the another part of the Green's lemma? So it says that this line integration over the curve C is nothing but the double integration. Dx minus uy dx dy, correct? So you have to solve this double integration, the meaning of this. So y equal to x square. So I have, this is the curve, correct? And the another one is the line passing through this. So we have this is y equal to x and this is y equal to x square, correct? So you have to define this as a disk because it is double integration. So I have to forget about the orientation or everything here. So you have to consider actually this. Okay, you have to consider this particular region. Now what we'll do is we just take this as, I have to find it out this values also, because once you integrate, double integrate, what are the intersecting points? So what I'll do is I have y equal to x square and y equal to x, put y as x here. So I get x square equal to x. That means x square minus x is equal to 0. So we get x is equal to 0 or 1. Correct? X is 0 and 1. So when you put x as 0, we get y as 0. So this point is 0, 0. And when you put x as 1, y is 1. So we get this point as 1, 1. Correct? So we have drawn this diagram. Diagrammatical representation is over now. Now what I have to do is I have to locate what is u. So here u is what? U is x square. And what is v? V is xy. Now you differentiate u partially with respect to y, that is u suffix y. So what is the derivative of this with respect to y? It is 0. Now you take derivative of v with respect to x, that is what? Y. So what is my double integration now? So the double integration is going to be y times dx dy, correct? I have to evaluate this integration now. Okay, so for evaluating this integration, now we have to substitute. We have to substitute the values. Okay, so what I'll do is I just write it down this way. So this double integration y dx dy. I just tell you how to write it down the limits because we have done this last year. So what we have to do is we have to take a vertical strip, if you remember that. Okay, and take a perpendicular on x-axis. So where it intersects at 1, correct? So I just move this vertical strip from 0 to 1, correct? Now what is this vertical strip? It will take shape of this region. So what is this region? So this is what? Y equal to x square. And what I have? This is y equal to x. So the limits, inner limits are from y equal to x square to x. And outside limit, I have to move the strip from 0 to 1 along x-axis. So the limits are going to be 0 to 1 here. Okay. I think everyone has understood this. Okay. Or you can see later on also the recorded this particular video. I'll upload it on YouTube. So you can see here that this, we are just moving it from 0 to 1, correct? 0 to 1, considering this shape. So it must take this shape of this particular strip, and for that, what is this shape? It is lower is x square and upper is x. So I have taken the limits x square to x here, x square to x here. Now we'll solve this integration. So solve this integration. So this can be written as, I just write it down here, integral 0 to 1 x square to x. If you forget that, then you put y equal to x square so that you will understand that which we have to integrate first. And then we just change this order because I have to integrate first with respect to y. So I just make little bit change in the writing part. Okay. So now you just integrate this part. So you can write it down this as integral 0 to 1. Integral of y is what? Y square by 2. And this is from 0 to, x square to x dx. Correct? X square to x dx. And now this is outside integral is 0 to 1. I can take out half outside. Put the upper limit. What is the upper limit? Upper limit is x square. Okay. Upper limit is x square. So put that. So you'll get x square minus x raised to 4 dx. And now you solve this with
खत्म करो
respect to
जल्दी.
x. With respect to x, so we can write it down this as half times x cube by 3 minus x raised to 5 by 5. Put the limits from 0 to 1. You can see that half times it is 1 by 3 minus 1 by 5. Now this is what? 5 minus 3, that is 2 by 15. So you get the answer as 1 by 15. Okay, 1 by 15. So this way you can solve this. Okay, this way you can solve this. And see, it becomes very simple once you apply Green's theorem. And whenever it is mentioned in the paper also using that particular theorem, that means you have to use that and you have to find it out the other part of the given statement. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. So we'll meet you tomorrow again. I'm taking one more lecture. Okay.